This is Jason J. Lewis, the voice of Superman on Justice League Action.
This is Mark Wade, writer of Superman Birthright.
And you're listening to the Krypton Report.
And you're listening to Krypton Report.
Up in the sky, look!
It's a bird!
It's a plane! It's the Krypton Report!
The All Things Kryptonian podcast, including Superman and Supergirl.
We discuss games, movies, cartoons, TV shows, and comics.
Find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter.
Welcome to the Krypton Report. It is I, Tyler, and with me, jeez, I'm already speaking in multiple personalities. I feel like it sometimes. I have with me back from the Phantom Zone. He escaped. He was locked in there. He took actually a vacation, but I got him back. Mr. James Cole. Welcome, James.
A vacation. I don't know if it counts as a vacation, getting locked in there by your arch enemy.
Just remember, when you come out and people ask you where you learned stuff, just say, Phantom Zone?
Right.
But we're here to discuss Supergirl Season 5 started, as well as some other things. But first, before we get into all that, if you have been listening and you know that we did a summer movie series where to celebrate not only the Joker movie coming out, but also the 80th anniversary of Batman, we went back and watched theatrical releases of Batman and Joker. Now, they're all up on our YouTube. They're fun, they're raw. We have some special guests. Part of them, they're great commentary tracks and discussions. Now, our last one that we did was for Suicide Squad. And for the 4 to 5 years that I've done podcasting, this was the most technical nightmare that we've ever had. Poor James's microphone kept dropping. It would spike up. It would go down. My Blu-ray player is going out, so certain parts of the film would just stop or stutter or jump ahead or back up. My kids decided to spaz out on me, even though Solomon was excited watching it, and then Sayla woke up in the middle of it and then got excited that Harley Quinn was there, because that's what she's going as for Halloween. So that one is beyond editing repair. Like, it is hilarious to listen to for myself, but I would not put it out there. So James and I are going to quickly kind of discuss some high points about Suicide Squad and Jared Leto's Joker, because that's what we were kind of focusing on, was Joker. Now, here we go. We'll kind of try to keep this brief, and I'll start. One, Suicide Squad is messy as a film is from an editing point of view. The beginning of it is a lot of just quick cutting, piecing together some awkwardly placed things. The film should have opened with Amanda Waller presenting the dossier. We should have met all the Suicide Squad members there. The opening scenes that we got of Harley and Deadshot should have been put in there so that we had a better pacing. They should have introduced us to Slipknot, just like they did with Captain Boomerang and everyone else, so that when he does die, we didn't already know he was going to die. The casting was good for everybody. I think everybody was on point. There was miscasting as far as character of doing the Enchantress. The Suicide Squad should have had nothing to do with anything supernatural. She shouldn't have been the villain, and we've heard recently that David Ayer had said something about that Steppenwolf at one time, or was the villain going to be in it before Justice League and all that? Because once Cara Delevingne's Enchantress gets hooked up with her brother, she's basically just a CG creation that stands in front of some sort of light-in-the-sky machine that makes no sense. I still think they need to release a director's cut more than the extended cut, because David Ayer has a lot more he said he shot. We know there's more Joker scenes. I think that about sums up a lot of it up until the Joker. So, James, any high points? I love the Batman in Gotham at Christmas versus Deadshot scene. I think that's pretty epic and awesome. I'm not a huge fan of El Diablo going full, burning monster thing. Kind of seemed way out of place. And The Bruce Wayne stuff at the end didn't quite make sense because he already had all the information, unless he was trying to erase their stuff from Amanda Waller. It should have been much more about Batman visiting her than Bruce, about her Suicide Squad, and about Harley or something. It seems cool, but it just doesn't work right. That's everything really quickly on Suicide Squad before we talk about the Joker. And James, you go.
You were talking about the editing and stuff. We discussed how it seemed like a lot of the stuff, especially the relationship stuff, different things with the color grading and stuff like that. They chopped it down to be like montage points where they were probably more story development between Harley and the Joker, because they've said that they shot a lot more between those two. I mean, I've always been fine with Jared Leto's Joker. I have wanted to see more. They cut out of everything except for the Joker wanting to get Harley back. You feel that from time to time that Joker can be obsessed with Harley and having her around. It's just his random personality. He's either obsessed, extremely obsessed, or he could care less, and we only got one side of that for the dysfunctional relationship of the movie. We had discussed that there's, especially because we watched the extended cut, that there's a lot more character development within the movie. That it's more of a with Harley, some stuff with Deadshot. Each character was used for what they were there for. They just telegraphed Slipknot not being there because there was no marketing for him. There was no introduction for him. I mean, nobody was surprised when that happened, and they should have given him an introduction, and so that way maybe people didn't know that he was just fodder.
Exactly.
But wanted to see more with the Joker. His look, you can pick things out. I think it was okay. I like the bleached skin look.
I love the bleached skin look. I love his hair.
I like how his hair is really green, like really green. And I like that he is somewhat of a gangster. They only showed some of that where he's like where he's out and about, because there are times when he's just underground. They only showed like the highlights of him. They really played up the Prince of Crime. He took notice. He liked the nicer things. Just an interpretation of the Joker. We didn't see enough of him, and everybody hates on him. So,
and that is my biggest criticism about his Joker is, one, he should have been in the movie more, or two, less. He should have only been in the film in flashbacks, and then at the end shows up in real time, or he should have been the main antagonist of the film. The biggest issue I have is, if you think about it, you have this character has different versions that's been existing for almost 80 years. And you just had a great Oscar-worthy performance from him. On The Last Joker, you have to interpret the character and do something different. And I'm not saying they did something wrong, but I think there were some misfires to that. And part of it was the fact that we never got to really know this character. He was just there as a plot device. They made him a little bit more animalistic with some of his actions. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the Joker on The Batman, which I'm not a fan of that Joker at all. And his look was, if you look at the modern day quote unquote gangster and David Ayer's style. He falls in line with that. I don't particularly like the face tattoos and some of the stuff.
Yeah, I think the face may be a little bit far, but the rest of the body tattoos, I mean, Joker has had tattoos, but it depends on to the varying degree what kind. He had the tattoos, so he liked to have his shirt off. Not to mention Jared Leto's ripped.
Yep.
But and you can believe that his Joker is not only intimidating because of his crazy and maniacal nature, but he could be a physically intimidating Joker, not like huge and towering over people, but he can handle himself.
Yes. And this
isn't a Joker that's always just getting pummeled by Batman without ever being able to land but a sucker punch. You know what I mean?
We see his goofiness. We see what I like about this Joker is his ability to kind of be funny and playful, and then all of a sudden turn it and be scared.
Yeah.
And there was never, lack of a better term, with any of the other Jokers where I kind of felt comfortable. Like, kind of like I was thinking back of the Mask of the Phantasm scene where he's like, oh, there it is. There's the smile. Nothing's too bad for my pal Sal. And you have Salvatore smiling, kind of like he lowers his guard, and then the Joker like turns it and starts laughing. I felt like Leto brought that, where he would be like scary and then flip it.
Yeah, you could see that in the club scene where he goes from being like eccentric to just common calling Harley a bitch and a bad bitch, and he you could see it flip. Subtle change in his facial expressions and everything. You could see it flip, and you're like, oh well, that little change, like you're like, this guy's not gonna make it out of here, and he didn't. and then his personality, his extreme changes, intimidating and making you feel uncomfortable, like he did to the head guard in the casino in the kitchen.
Which is my favorite scene. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, there was more of that before editing got to it.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, so much of everything got cut out by editing that his performance disappeared. I mean, there's evidence in the trailer of more of him. There's more. And
they marketed it as with a lot more Joker, and then he barely showed up in it. So that was just a problem. And, there's more with the movie when it comes to good and bad. And, but, with us talking about the Joker.
Yeah, this Joker just had a chance to do something different because it was our first time paired with a Harley Quinn. So we were going to get to see different things out of this Joker than we hadn't seen. It was going to help it, really separate it. And we didn't get a Batman and the Joker scene together. Like, there's never a scene of them together. You have Batman on top of the Joker's car, but they're never in the frame together.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things we've had to kind of move on with because, Affleck's left the role, and that's where we're at, But I hate, I just hate when people hate on Leto's Joker without. It's so hard because you got to think about the performance, what he was trying to do, what he was given, and he was trying to be something different than what we had, which every Joker has been. But he got cut down so much that it just feels off because you don't get time with the character. Like the scene where he's in the room with like all the knives and random stuff that we don't know about. that Johnny Frost walks into.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we have that scene. So I don't know. I like it. I would have liked more, because there's scenes. The baseball bat that Harley uses was the bat that he killed the doctor with when they take over Arkham, and there's some dialogue about Harley left him in a black hole where she scrambled his mind even more that he don't remember, and you and I had the talk that if it was supposed to be like, I don't know if it was a scene that was filmed or not filmed, or if it was just like a canon that the directors and producer had created, that the grill for his teeth was because Batman busted his teeth in, supposedly at the death of Robin. And if you look at Batman's gloves and everything, it's like brass knuckles and stuff were built into his gloves.
Oh yeah, when Batman hits you, he doesn't want to turn his back, and you're still standing.
So that was something that was at some point maybe going to be explained. And we never learned what Robin it was. We never learned about Joker and Harley killing Robin. We never had
which is a twist to the canon, but if you condense some of the timeline a little bit, there's nothing saying that it couldn't be different.
Think about Batman Beyond / The Return of the Joker, how it was Joker and Harley that kidnapped and almost pretty much killed Tim Drake.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing, there from the stories can't stay the same and evolve, continue on without evolving a little bit. The original will always be the standard from what the story is, but making changes to the canon like that is not, it's not blasphemous. It's not going to ruin your childhood. It's going to be somebody's first time, and then they're going to get to go back and see where that came from.
The story's got to breathe, but that's
exactly.
That pretty much sums up, I think, the Joker discussion of Leto. I think he did a good job. He just got shortchanged in a lot of ways, and it's always going to be one of those, unless we get something else from him or we get more of the expanded Suicide Squad, which, with the way that the Suicide Squad is shaping up to be, where it is one of those, they say it's a sequel reboot, but the nature of the Suicide Squad is kind of rebooted everything because you have different people in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah, each mission is specifically chosen. The people on the mission are specifically chosen for what's needed. So anybody in the system is available to be recruited to the Suicide Squad. In custody.
We might see maybe an expanded cut again or something with David Ayer's Suicide Squad when the Suicide Squad comes out, just to try to help, sell more copies. If, people get pumped for that film, and they're like, oh, you want to see the new one? You got to watch the old one. But hey, did you see there's a new disc out for it? People are like, what? And there you go.
Right. So, yeah, it's the Suicide Squad, for the most part, it's good, it's entertaining. We enjoy it. It made tons of money at the box office. It's getting a pseudo sequel, soft reboot kind of thing, but like you said, that's just kind of the nature of it. Jared Leto's Joker, we've seen photos of Harley kind of being like kicked out of the house kind of a thing, a fight between her and what's clearly a Leto Joker. They don't let you see his face or anything like that. And we had discussed about the way that they can shoot movies, and what they need to do is they shoot a scene with a stand-in, and then when the person becomes available, they bring them in and they shoot their close-ups and things like that. So to say that, because we had seen stuff about Jared Leto had cut his hair not too long ago to match the Joker. So not to say that he didn't have a time frame ready to come in and shoot his stuff. I mean, maybe we'll get a Jared Leto Joker during the breakup, but I mean, it's possible, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yes.
Be nice to see actually some of that dysfunctionality between them when it comes to this movie, if they show that. I mean, they're already, with the first trailer, they're already discussing the breakup. So I don't suspect that that's going to happen all off screen. I mean, even if they shot it with a body double and it's kind of a montage setup for the breakup, I mean, just because they don't have Leto to be in on all of it, who knows? They could do it a number of different ways. But, his version of the Joker is continuing on in this, whether it's a body double, unfortunately, like Superman and Shazam, or if they got him back and worked the magic of editing.
But let's zip over.
Good editing, I hope.
So let's zip over now and discuss Supergirl. If you're an Amazon shopper, just remember you can go to southgatemediagroup.com. There's a portal, log into Amazon, and you'll shop into your account just regular, but it also helps keep Southgate running.
Lena enters a virtual simulation where she fights against Kara after knowing her secret, being Supergirl, from her brother Lex before she apparently killed him. Andrea Rojas acquires Catco, replacing James as editor-in-chief. Alex convinces Kara to tell Lena she is Supergirl at an evening party hosted by Lena, which she does, but is attacked by a Phantom Zone prisoner known as Midnight, whom was locked up by John of Mars for leading a white Martian attack years prior its destruction. Kara uses her new suit created by Brainy to stop a black hole caused by Midnight, who is eventually sent back to the Phantom Zone using a Phantom Zone projector. Kara reconciles with Lena before Lena enters the simulation. It is revealed that Midnight was actually...
So Supergirl kicked off its 5th season. Can you believe we're in year 5? Year 5, episode 1. I mean, dang. Like, I remember just the other day when the pilot leaked. And I was watching that thing. It just doesn't seem like it's been that long, but here we are, season 5 of Supergirl. Event Horizon. We got a lot of notes.
Yeah.
So let's jump in. The episode starts awkwardly. Like, did you not think that it started weird? Whereas, like, Lena, we see Supergirl stop a bus, and Lena already calls her out as Kara, and then we find out it's a virtual reality simulation.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as we saw it, like, she calls her out on Supergirl. She calls her out on being Supergirl right away, and you're like, whoa, like, that escalated quickly. Not getting any time, but then she hits her and sends her flying into
Oblivion.
Yeah, sends her flying into Oblivion. Sends her flying into the bus, and there's a big explosion and everything. And then you hear Lena end simulation. She comes off with the cool new virtual reality contacts that they have.
Yeah, and then we get a new title card which is all like digital. So technology is our villain, like this season. That's kind of the vibe that I'm getting here.
Well, I mean, technology is the commentary of this season. More or less the distracting nature of technology. I don't think it's going to paint technology as bad, but the abuse of technology, abuse when it comes to people being locked into it day and night, all day. I mean, these days there's countless accidents of people on their phone crashing into one another and rear-ending people and all this other stuff. So it's not like, so I don't think they're going to paint it as bad. I mean, the world is in a lot better place due to technology than it has been in a long time. But also, it certainly had its share of negative side effects. Mm-hmm. So, like the political commentary last year for the fear and the hatred being spread in the world from the media and from politicians, like it was far from escapism when it was so prevalent in the world. Yes. You know, so it wasn't very much escapism, and they used it very heavy-handedly. So maybe they'll lean off of that a tad this season. You know, give us characters to work with.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm hoping for, because I'm right there with you. Last season, I mean, it was good, but it wasn't for us to get away. You know, it was. Remember all that stuff you see on the news that you're bummed out about? Well, here's some more.
Exactly. So it was slightly off-putting when it did so much of that last season, especially since they had so much good material with the Elite and the Red Daughter, and Sam Witwer. Didn't matter who he played. Sam Witwer being a villain, like they had a lot to work with last year, and
I'm gonna bring him back up later in this episode.
Oh, are you?
Okay, wait. I'm just going to skip to it now because we're not really going in order. The actor who plays the new reporter at Catco, did you catch who that was?
He looked familiar, but I couldn't place him.
That's Dax, a.k.a. Doomsday from Krypton.
No way.
yes way. So that is the second Doomsday actor to appear on Supergirl.
Fantastic.
I was thinking, like, man, if Sam just walked in for this one scene or something, and like we had double Doomsday. But yeah, I was looking at him. I was like, man, he looked familiar. Got on IMDb, and there it was. I was like, Krypton. So we have our first crossover from Krypton on Supergirl.
Well, best place to put it.
I mean, yeah.
Don't want him on any other show.
We get enough references of, that person was on Smallville, or that person was this. Now it's like, hey, they were on Krypton. So
you were in the DC family now.
So I do like we get another reference that the DEO had prisoners escape from their desert facility. So they still do like to drop that in for us. And we got mention of did the Catco set looked a little different when this started. I don't know if they just were shooting it from another angle. It kind of felt just different. It kind of made me think back to whatever happened with Snapper Carr, like the most miscast character and poorly used character.
I mean, it didn't stand out to me that much, but it's something I heard, and I was like, I have to look and see if they did something, move stuff around or whatever, you know.
We learned that Catco's been bought by Andrea Rojas. And she's the owner of Obsidian North, the tech company that made the VR that's pretty much taking over their world with their VR. As we learned that Jimmy's sister has gotten a job with him, and they're in the we learn that there is a Superman museum that's pretty awesome, where the voice of Velma, if you're a Scooby-Doo fan, is working, and we see the ship that brought Superman to Earth.
Is she the voice of Velma? Because I've seen her on a whole bunch of other things, and I recognized her immediately, but I didn't know that she does the voice of Velma.
Yep, she's the new voice of Velma. She was also, I knew her originally as Roz's girlfriend for a season in Big Bang Theory.
She was a clerk in How I Met Your Mother. What else have I seen her in? I know I've seen her a couple of times. She's a character actor, a bit actor in a lot of things.
She's supposed to, be somebody and show up more later, so that's cool.
Is she?
That museum was awesome.
Oh, yeah.
They're like, donated from Superman and Supergirl. I'm like, yeah. Who else is going to donate stuff from Krypton?
Right. Stuff that's broken and can't be used and stuff that's not dangerous.
And then all of a sudden, Supergirl and Martian Manhunter are fighting a T-Rex. And I was like, man, if Solomon wasn't in bed, I should have got him. I will say I was a little surprised that Supergirl came on at 9. Because in my brain, I still had Supergirl at 8. And then Batwoman was going to be at 9. And they were going to use Supergirl as the returning show to segue into the new show.
Right. I expected it to be on at 9 because, there's certain restrictions lifted. Not a whole lot being a network station like the CW, but...
Yeah, right. You have your family shows on first, and then after that, it's, as you go later into the night, it changes. So I just expected Batwoman to be the 9 o'clock show, and it wasn't. But
yeah.
So Solomon was already in bed by the time that happened. So I got to show him that scene. But it started well. William Day is the reporter that was Dax.
Mm-hmm.
And we get to a point where we find out that Catco is basically going to become a media outlet about clicks, because everything's about clicks and getting likes and clicks. And, they have new contracts. I don't know how that works legally. If somebody buys you out, if you automatically get a contract renewal or anything like that. So, they're all kind of in this weird
right.
place.
Typically, yeah, I don't think it usually works like that. I think they usually buy an existing contract, and they have to honor the existing contract until it's up. They don't automatically issue brand new contracts. I'm pretty sure that is not how that works.
Yeah, or you have to renegotiate your contract. So she says she has this, they can't quit. She later tells Kara she won't fire her, so that's kind of sucks.
Yeah, the non-compete clause, she threatens all of her journalists. You're going to do it my way, and you can do it my way or you can leave, but if you choose to leave, there's a no competition clause where they cannot go work for any competitive media outlet as a journalist for 3 years, the duration of their contract. So basically being out of the game for 3 years.
And it's interesting. We learned that Kara's going to win a Pulitzer, and they're going to be honoring her later. And Lena is going to be delivering a huge piece of news to Andrea Rojas. At 9 o'clock.
Are you going to be saying it like that all season?
I might. I don't know. That's how she introduced herself, so I might have to.
Okay.
And so we get that Kara wants to tell Lena, and Kara's cape got damaged in the battle, and Brainy is going to make her a new costume. And that's one of the big things about this season was Kara gets a new costume. And he gives her this microchip thingy that we can't see, and she puts it on her glasses, which I thought was...
How convenient.
I thought was pretty...
A microchip.
I thought it was pretty dang dumb, but...
Yeah, I did not like the execution of that. Oh, here's a nano machine that sticks to your glasses, and when you whip them off, you automatically have this.
Costume stuff.
I mean,
Yeah, they're on your glasses.
T1000 like suit form over you.
They're on your glasses. Okay.
Yeah, I would have preferred a freaking little shield or something, and it expands from the shield. Like she just, I don't know, slaps a shield on her chest or something, and just like they might as well have gone that way.
That's what they did in the New 52 with his suit when he got his bio armor. Was like a little House of L symbol that was real small on his chest that he could touch, and it would expand. And you know what? For a modern age, I like that idea of a suit because let's face it, she wears some tight clothes on that show.
Oh yeah, she does.
And when she does the scenes where she does the shirt rip, I'm thinking, yeah, there's no skirt, boots, or cape under that really tight outfit you're wearing there.
Right. Kind of see that bunched up, your cape around the back of your waist, something like that.
That's why Superman always wore like bulky clothes, and and then in the Snyderverse, we never actually saw the shirt rip to the final scene. And if you really study that scene, he's wearing like a big trench coat and stuff like that, where you can kind of be like, okay, maybe he did have that under his clothes. But
no, the heat ain't gonna get to him.
Yeah, so it's like okay, but for us people who think about some stuff, I can only suspend disbelief so much. The Flash has a suit and a ring, okay, people, so that he can shoot it out and nobody knows. Yes, he's wearing a ring with the Flash symbol on it at all times. But maybe they just think he's a fanboy. But yeah, one thing about the suit, and you brought up the shirt rip. She would always take off her glasses and rip open her shirt. You got the iconic shot of Kryptonian revealing the S on their chest. You know what I mean? It's classic. Well, now that's not going to happen. She doesn't have that S on her chest. Like, I'm okay with it. It's different. Like I would prefer, to her to rip the shirt. Well, that might be a little explicit. I don't know.
Well, I would think like if they did like rip the shirt, like the shirt would open up, and the suit is already forming over her. You wouldn't see anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just except for the suit.
Then why would you need to rip the shirt?
Well, you still need to take it off. You know what I'm saying? That suit just kind of like formed over her clothes. So now she had a skirt on. She had a tight mini skirt on for the party, for her Pulitzer party. And then all of a sudden she's wearing pants. So
no, I don't mind the pants. I think it looks good on screen.
I don't mind the pants. I'm just saying, like, she had a mini skirt, down to almost her knees, and then she's got pants, like,
yeah. So like
it like changed her entire.
So it burned off.
It's the opposite of you don't have a skirt and cape under those tight clothes. Now you have this tight dress and tight skirt underneath your pants, but they're not. But they're like they're nowhere to be found.
I'm just gonna.
It's just the reverse problem.
They just destroyed her suit.
Right, like all her clothes get incinerated by the nano machines.
Exactly. That's my headcanon right now.
It's gonna cost her a fortune in those designer clothes.
Yes. Now we do prove that you have to whip the glasses off because Brady gives it to her. And then we have the really great scene of Kara telling Lena that she's Supergirl, and she just pulls them off.
Literally right before Lena's about to send out the news to Andrea Rojas.
See, isn't it fun to say?
Yeah. Before she sends it off to her for the big news story, which she decides not to do, but still playing games with Kara. Like, she seems to accept it in front of Kara, and then in the end she's like, it'll be easier if she trusts me.
Yeah,
and da 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 da. Like, full on evil Lena, man.
Like, she's going down. Like, she's But we get to see her in her new costume. She loves it. She yells pants, and I'm cool. I'm cool with the new costume, changing up using the Kryptonian tech type thing.
Yeah, the tech he develops. The suit looks good, you know. I like the pants. I like the boots that go up to her knees, past her knees. The belt looks good. You know, even her little collar looks good. I still don't like the cape clips,
Right,
but
thank you.
what are you gonna do?
That's what I was gonna say. She has a more Superman inspired suit now with the cape clips and everything, which would be kind of cool to see her and Superman next to each other.
I'm sure we will in Crisis.
Hopefully before Crisis, just because it'd be kind of nice just to touch with them two before he gets killed. But so
Damn you, Tyler! No, this is the first Superman who has got the first John Kent Superboy. Don't kill Superman when he first has a baby.
Hey, like I've told you before, it's not so much about what I want; it's what I think they'll do.
Yeah, I don't want Alex adopting baby John and Lois and Kara like being the super Kryptonian
Remember the movie?
Parenting duo.
Remember the movie 3 Men and a Little Baby? It's gonna be 3 ladies and a little baby.
Right. Well, there's 4 unless Kelly disappears.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, she ain't gonna stay around. Something's gonna happen.
4 women and a Kryptonian baby.
So, I forget, did you catch in the scene where Kara is fighting the T-Rex, there's a banner hanging up for rain in the museum?
No, I did not see a banner for rain.
It was nice.
Obviously, I saw Lex because she went, ugh.
Yeah.
When she saw it. I did not see the banner for rain.
It was nice. I had to point it out to Junia. It's a little nice to know that she somehow still exists. So the villain we haven't even talked about is making like black holes and calling herself Midnight. She is an alien without origin that John Jones had fought and put into the Phantom Zone. John Jones is having some memory problems because of an attack earlier. We basically learn that they stop her. They stop the villain. They stop Midnight. And Kara flies into the black hole. She mentions going solar flare. She doesn't. Lena doesn't reveal Kara's secret identity. There's a really cool dichotomy speech just thinking about the fact that Kara's job is to tell the truth. And it's the same thing with Superman. Clark and Superman both tell the truth and are honest about everything except about who they are.
Yeah.
You know, Clark...
And you know, they do that. They've explained it. They do that because it protects the people they love. You know, if they didn't have people they love, they wouldn't need a secret identity. They would be who they are all the time, whether it's Superman or Clark with super abilities or Kara with super abilities. They just be them. You know, it's for protection.
Now we get James Olsen comes in after speaking with his sister. She asks him, what does James Olsen want? He's been helping people long before he got that camera in his face. And he quits his job at Catco. He quits. So that's probably because he's leaving the show to go off and be Jax and fight in Mortal Kombat. So that's cool. Also, there was a great line delivered by Alex when Kara changes, and all of a sudden you have Dreamer, John Jones, Kara, Guardian, and Brainy all in their suits. And Alex like, how do you guys change so fast? I thought that was pretty cool. So, but the episode ends. Kara gives Lena a signal watch, and
yeah. I messaged you when that happened. I said, oh, Supergirl's pal, Lena Luthor. And then she turns around like, it'll be easier if she trusts me. I'm going to, destroy her, or hurt her, tear her down. Like, oh, maybe not.
And it's interesting just because Lena still is like that's when we got like you said the scene where we see that she still is against Kara. She's not forgiven her, and that right there. I think is the defining of Lena's character right here. So we'll see how that plays out. We'll see where that goes.
So the one thing we didn't really touch on at this point, though, was the shapeshifter who was a little girl, and the T-Rex,
which was
shows up at John's detective office and reveals himself to John. He's a shapeshifter and that he's a Martian. And do you know who voices this Martian? Malafa'ak. Phil Lamar is the voice. I didn't know that until I just saw it.
Which is amazing.
Yes, Phil Lamar is amazing, and he has got a pedigree of DC voicing.
I wish they would just bring in to be Malafa'ak when he changes into a human form.
Right.
Oh man, I just blanked on his name. Oh no, Phil Morris.
Oh yeah, that would be awesome.
That's who I want him to be when he turns into his human form.
Yeah, Phil Lamar's voice for Malafa'ak when he's in Martian form, and then Phil Morris as his human form. Oh, that'd be fantastic.
And
the other live action.
They're not
gonna get General Swanwick.
Oh man, I was gonna bring that
here.
up. All right, let's do that. Let's do that. In. So
okay.
So Zack Snyder tweeted out and posted on Vero that basically he had plans to make General Swanwick basically Martian Manhunter in disguise. That was in his original idea for Justice League. And then people have come back and said, oh, so that's what Unite the Seven meant. And it's kind of like he released some storyboards. And I'm like, that's cool. People are saying, oh, so in this scene. No, the scene that he's referring to was never in the actual Justice League movie. It's in the storyboards. There's a photo that was released, that Snyder released, of Martha and Lois having coffee in the house. That was not in the film. That's what the storyboard is referencing. I think that's awesome, but I don't feel like maybe it was always there. That's one of those things they came up with, maybe doing BVS, and they could slip it in. Just because we go back to our discussion about Man of Steel, that they weren't planning on building a universe out of Man of Steel. That wasn't the goal. Because if they were, they would have planned stuff like that. They would have probably done something better with Colonel Hardy, made him like a Steve Trevor Jr., or they would have made him like Hank Henshaw or something, because I think that would have been pretty awesome. So I don't feel like if I go back and watch Man of Steel, I'm not watching Swanwick as Martian Manhunter.
Yeah.
I feel like that was just one of those things that they wanted to do that they didn't get a chance to do. But it's just kind of cool to know that that's where that could have went.
Right. I mean, that may have been one of Snyder's already pre-scheduled pickup shots down the line in the months between him leaving and the time the movie came out, because he left in May, right? March or May?
March.
I would say it was one of those two. It was one of the two M's. I'm positive about that.
I'm pretty sure it was March. So I think it was before, or maybe he left in May and the suicide was in March.
That might have been it.
Because I want to feel like it was shortly before the trailer. I don't remember.
It was one of those two he left. I'm sure of that, that much. But he was, he had months between the time the movie would come out and the time he left. So I guarantee there was already pre-scheduled pickup shots, but once he left and the reins were open for the studio to do what they wanted to do with the film and bring in Joss to complete what they wanted him to complete, I'm sure things changed at that point too. So,
anyways, Malafa'ak. is there. And that's where we end this episode, because the last shot is Eve Tessmacher coming out of a restaurant and getting kidnapped. And we know that Leviathan is coming, which I think is pretty crazy. Just want those out there. They're already using the idea of Leviathan to some form on Supergirl, with Event Leviathan has one more book to come out, and it'll be, next month?
Yeah. Five just came out.
yesterday?
Just came out.
Wednesday?
Yesterday. Which I have, and I have not gotten to read yet. I've gotten a couple of weeks behind on all my books, my online reading, my DC Universe reading, my purchases. Gotten behind on stuff. Have to catch up.
It's all good because, yeah, me too.
I had been reading every single. I've been reading every single issue that is titled. That's got the event title of Year of the Villain. So when it comes to Batgirl and Catwoman and Hawkman and the Terrifics and you name it, Red Hood, Nightwing. I know I'm missing something, but you go down anything that's had I want to see what Lex has given people to enhance all of these villains to be able to get the advantage over all of their heroes.
Mm-hmm.
Been very curious to see what a lot of these would be, so I've been reading a whole bunch of it, but now I got a couple of weeks behind.
I am giving up on Deceased until it finishes, and I'm going to read it straight. So,
well, I've been collecting the horror movie variants, so I got lucky because I didn't decide to start getting the horror movie variant covers until issue 2. So I got issue 2, and then I wanted to find issue 1, and then 3 and 4 had come out since. Mm-hmm. And I stopped in the new comic book store that opened up near me, and I was looking through their comics, and they had issue 1, the It horror cover variant, bagged and boarded. So I bought that. A little more expensive than when it was brand new on the shelf, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It was only $8. It was only twice what it cost when it came out, so that's not too bad. But I have all the horror movie covers, so.
So that's going to take us out of Supergirl. And real quickly, we're going to touch on, we had the premiere of Batwoman and The Flash premiered. And did you get a chance to watch Black Lightning?
I have not gotten to watch Black Lightning yet.
All right, that's cool. We'll hit on Batwoman and Flash real quick. So, Flash.
I loved it.
Dude.
I laughed so hard.
I need to go back and watch the episode because I think I missed it because it opens with a flashback and he has his old suit from last season on, and I think I missed them either saying something or the first scene of him in the present with his suit on, because it just seemed like all of a sudden there it was. And usually there's some sort of explanation when the suit changes. So
yeah, it's usually just an update in between seasons.
Yeah, because at the beginning of season 4,
and off-screen stuff,
Cisco says, "Hey, I updated and made you a new suit." And then later it gets
especially from season 1 suit, you know what I mean? That's bare bones. So.
And then there's later where they update a little bit more because it's based on the thing that Flash saw when he was in the future with himself. And then the last season's suit was given to him from the Ring by XS. But yeah, this new season looks dope. His suit, the best suit we've got from him. And the episode was good. I really want to rewatch it. I'm always excited for this show. This is my family show. This is the one that I gather the kids and everything. We watch Flash together. And I'm a little worried about blood work. I don't know, he just seems like a creepy like concept of a villain, like blood manipulation and everything. Like, I don't know, that could get disgusting. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't know. I know he's a recent character in the comics. He doesn't have a whole lot of history to my knowledge, and the name. I haven't read those issues, so I don't know how he works, how he operates. But yeah, like no time at all. He's the bad guy. He's the villain pretty much outright. Like he gets Caitlin because he gets to Caitlin, friendly, you know.
I like the actor. If you ever watched Heroes, he was Mohinder Suresh, which I like him as an actor. He was also in an episode of The Office.
So yeah, he gets to her right away. He wants dark matter. He has developed a cure for cancer or certain forms of cancer. It turns out that his blood, he shows some of the test results for his blood, and it's basically like 100% odds that he's going to be coming down with cancer himself in his lifetime.
Yep.
And die like his grandmother. So he develops a cure, basically. And, like, Caitlin knows exactly what being exposed to dark matter can create. You know, not everybody who is exposed to dark matter becomes the Flash or, Killer Frost or Ralph Dibny, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, we're not talking about you, Cisco. That's a whole nother thing right there.
Well, he turned his back on it, so what are you going to do?
Yeah, I know. It made me mad, but that's another debate that you and I'll have another day.
Well, especially since, back in, which crossover was it? Or was it just from a different, when he went, no, it was when he went to Earth 2, right? Earth 2 Cisco was, or was it Earth 3? It was with Hunter, I believe. Hunter Zolomon was Zoom. Went to another Earth, and his doppelganger over there had foreshadowed, like, you're more powerful than you realize, this and that. Like, kind of gave this prophecy of how powerful his abilities can be. And then they do very little with him, and then they cure him, write his powers away.
Yeah, and I don't know. Like if I knew what my friends were going through, and I had these powers, I'm sorry, I'm not giving them up. With great power comes great responsibility there, Cisco. But that's a whole You think Peter wanted to give it up a couple times? Yeah, he did. Okay? He did. But yeah, so they're off to good. There was no Wells in this episode, so it's kind of sad. I really like Tom Cavanaugh and the performances he does, so it just kind of sucked that we didn't get any kind of Wells in this episode. I'm looking forward to seeing what he brings this season. It was quick. It was a fun, quick episode. They're dealing with the loss of excess. Iris and Barry both are. Iris seems to deal with it more in a different way. We got to see Godspeed again. And we found out they've captured several Godspeeds. And as Solomon calls it, White Flash.
That suit looks pretty awesome.
It does. And
I like that suit.
It definitely looks like it's a mixture of CG and an actual suit. It's probably maybe the second best speedster suit, other than Barry's, if not the first best alternate speedster suit. I don't know, the rival's still the worst. But yeah, that's the Flash. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and we get a ominous prophecy that the Flash will die in crisis from the Monitor. Shows up in the time vault, unfortunately destroying Nora's message to her parents, which they are upset about, very much understandably so. but he tells him that Flash is going to die, and yeah, it's going to be, there's going to be pre-crisis Flash, and then there's going to be post-crisis Flash. Like, things are going to change come December and January.
Which is going to be interesting, but
status quo is going to be reset.
So that brings us to the new show of Batwoman. So what do you think, James, the Batwoman pilot?
I enjoyed it. I like Ruby Rose. I've liked her in the majority of everything I've seen her in. I haven't watched Orange is the New Black, but I've seen her in a bunch of different movies. She's a character actor. She's been in physical roles. They had good action in there. I guess I heard the exterior shots are like Chicago, so the Gotham kind of is reminiscent of Batman Begins and The Dark Knight. Mm-hmm. So hopefully, and plus I'm sure they'll probably have some of their own stages and also shots like in Vancouver, kind of like mix them together, create their own original Gotham. We got Luke Fox, who security and tech, I guess, at Wayne Enterprises. He's kind of going to be her. He's going to be her tech guy as the show moves forward. Yeah, I mean, all these superheroes, and for the show, you need an ensemble cast. All superheroes, they have a support system. Even if it's very minor. I mean, like Batman's Alfred, Gordon, who doesn't know who he is, but I mean, they gotta develop the support system for the character. They gotta develop the cast. We get our first look at Alice, the villain, for the season, for at least part of the season or something, who they reveal right away at the end of this episode that it is her twin sister Beth, who was supposed to be dead. We get some interesting commentary on Batman, that he had hooked up two cables where the weight load should have easily supported the car that her mother and twin sister died in when it fell off of a bridge, and that ate at Batman. Like, he spent a long time researching what could have happened, because he felt he had secured the vehicle and probably continued on with his chase, because I'm sure he was probably in the middle of a chase or something.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, there's still a little bit of Batman in the show. That the Batman has had unsolved cases, cold cases, things like that, in so many years.
So I found the show good. I also found it quick, and they were trying to put a lot into it that I almost as if there was more to the story than they had edited it down.
Yeah, I mean, I feel there was just enough. I feel if they would have done any more, it would have certainly been convoluted. But yeah, I think it got all the characters across, most of the motivations, and kind of got her into her role right away. Got her into her role as Batwoman right away. She starts off wanting to work with her dad, finds a different and a better calling, and they get her into the role right away. And it's going to be cool to see it expand, because soon she's going to get her own costume, because as we've seen in the early trailers, like, it's confused that she's Batman, but she doesn't want to be confused as Batman. She wants to be her own person.
Yep.
Batwoman. She wants people to know it's a woman.
So, I mean, my thing is just, it's supposed to be the first 8 episodes of Batwoman or before Crisis, so it's before the crossover from last year. So I can understand why they got into it quickly, and I mean, it is quick. with it's just quick with the the reveal about her sister. You know, I mean, it's all right there fast. But and then of course the actress who plays her sister was the original Dinah Lance on Birds of Prey.
Yes, she was.
But,
So another legacy casting.
So, but yeah, I'm interested in the show. I think sometimes pilots can be rough. They can be really great, or they can be just kind of rough, like you're getting started and you just wasn't the best jumping point. But
Yeah, I mean, they did a good job of getting it going on their feet. You know, you got to give a brand new show, you know, the first 3 to 5 episodes to find everything that works for the people involved. Because you know the pilot is all done and pretty much like executed to like the writers and the directors, and you know the actors have some input, but it's until the actors start becoming the characters and you know they start like making the changes for what their character might do, that kind of thing, where the show starts to get its footing.
anything else you want to say? We wrap this up.
No, I'm gonna be watching it on Sunday. Be watching Batwoman, be watching Supergirl.
Like I told you the other day, I kind of wish that like Batwoman and Arrow were spread out, so like I could finally get a week of DC. Sunday, Supergirl. Monday, Batwoman. Tuesday, The Flash. Wednesday, Arrow. Thursday, Black Lightning. Friday, Titans. Bam. Then I breathe on Saturday. You know, I kind of just wish like we could finally get that like week.
Stuff like DC TV would be pretty hard pressed to make their podcast episodes if they had every single day with a show. Like they don't even have a couple of breather days to record, to edit and post. Like that'd be hell for them.
But all right, so let's wrap it up here. We enjoyed this week. We got a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Next week's episode, we'll actually be throwing in another show for discussion. So get ready for that. We'll have all that. We might stop back in with the Bat or the Flash, kind of see, maybe hit some high points. But next week, we're going to be talking about another DC show and specific episode. But until
another
then,
Kryptonian.
Ooh.
Who could it be?
So until then, I am Tyler, the Superman.
I'm Gene.
And this is James.
Superman Red.
Look up in the sky.